Hello everyone, TJ here. Welcome back to another video. Today I wanted to do something a little bit different as I talked about earlier a few days ago, and I want to talk about the best duo in the game. So if you're ready, let's take a closer look. So I came up with this idea because many people talk about synergy, what fits well together, who should you level. If you level this character, then you should level someone else. So I figured this was honestly be an interesting place to begin. So, yeah, we're gonna jump into this and let's actually go ahead and say we're gonna start off with the worst duo. This, I believe, is hands down the worst duo in the game. Bekalu and Wubete. They are legit the worst. So, and I can already also announce this is only light side characters on here. So CG, they like their light side. And I will probably, if this has your interest, I can do one for Shadow where we list the best of the worst, so to say. But this duo is the worst because it's a team up attack that inflicts one stack of Black Serpent poison, and it's actually worse than anything else Bekalo has to offer. So you actually hurt your own effort by using that. So that's why this gets the spot as the worst duo. Number 10, Halbarad and Miri. And the reason why the synergy works like this is actually because Halbarad on his special 2 calls Miri for an attack. If it crits, she gains Eagle Eye and Deadly. Deadly gives you the 30% extra crit chance, but at level 6, if it's all the way leveled, then it actually inflicts to all ranger members, and Rangers do have some options here and there, especially with Eagle Eye if they have any multi attacks. So this is why they get the number 10 spot, because there is some synergy here. Also, some characters can appear multiple times on this list, but not many characters have more than one synergy. So, but it depends on who they synergize with. So moving on from number 10, number 9, and this is Faramir and Boromir. So the reason why these two come in at number 9 is because of Boromir's kit, where he calls Faramir for an assist, and also Faramir can get a really high damage boost, and he gains might, he gains stealth, and I believe he gains haste as well actually. So it's actually really good for AoE damage, and it boosts up Faramir's own AoE, so there's really nice there. And yeah, overall, that's basically what gains them this spot. So also, if Boromir were to die, then I believe it's only Faramir he gains a full turn meter and might as well. So there's some synergy there. Boromir, sometimes he takes an arrow, sometimes he fires them. Coming in at number 8 is the Rohan duo here, Eothane and Eomer. So the reason why this comes in at this spot right here is basically due to the special 2 on Eomer, where it's a team up attack. And the reason why this gets a little bit further ahead is because that it is also a cleanser, so there's some cleanse in there. I was really considering number 9 and number 8 if I should move them around. Maybe you agree, then let me know in the comments down below. But I was really on the fence on this one, but I did go ahead with what they also offer a little bit outside of their synergy, then I would go with that. So yeah, it's a nice cleanse and it's pretty good. Like in chapter 3 it works okay, and it also works in the other chapters, but Eomer, as we know, offers a lot outside of that. So moving on, number 7, Sam and Frodo. Or Frodo and Sam, I should say, because it's Frodo's kit that enables him, and it is an expose. And it's a double tap. That's also why it comes in at number 7, due to the bomber, where you can actually have a double tap. So there is that. And it's pretty good. I believe you need Frodo to not be blinded on the Balrog, and then you can actually get it working even if Sam is blinded. I know there's one of them, and I believe that's the way it works if Frodo isn't blinded. So there is something there. and Expose is actually pretty good for all the raid chapters, especially when you get to higher difficulties. So that, and it also does a fair amount of damage, so that is why they come in at number 7. Number 6, Legolas and Gimli. I actually had them placed a spot higher up, but I decided to move them back down. They have the synergy due to Legolas with his special 2, where there is a lot of crit, like the attack actually does really high damage. And if you compare these two with the Rohan 3, you can actually see pretty good results in your raid, especially in Chapter 1, but also Chapter 2. Chapter 3, I think so as well, but overall, it's a really nice combo, and he is gaining so much damage, also if it gains a kill as well. And yeah, it just works really, really great for the raids, and also just in general if you want to hit something. Some people also use these in arena, so that's why we put them at number 6. Of course, I do have raids mostly in focus. So now we're gonna enter the top 5 area, and we're gonna start off with a very, very controversial pick. Elladan and Elrond here. So you guys are probably wondering right now, if these come in at number 5, who is ahead of them? And we're gonna come to that in just a moment. But the reason why these come in at number 5 is because Elladan needs his provokes for Elrohir to retaliate, which is pretty powerful. But other than that, the only way these two actually have legit synergy is from Elrohir's kit. So now we do know that it is dominating the arena meta. It can hit pretty hard when he has Might and a crit on from Elladan if he has that deadly. So it does hit very, very hard, but honestly, if you manage to land a weaken or he doesn't have his Might on him, this can actually go down, and if you have something that can block or a defensive stack, then this really loses some value. Now, it is very, very strong too, and that's why they come in at number 5. But there are some things that I feel are better overall, and that's what we're gonna take a look at in number 4. Eomer, he makes a return to the list. Now, he has his synergy with Eothane, but he also has with Eomer, Lady Eowyn. He has heal, from his counter attacks, like it's his passive that heals, and healing is actually pretty good. And through his basic, he gains some turn meter there when he counter attacks. So there is a lot of synergy, and it helps Eowyn staying alive. So it offers health as well as good damage. So that is why he actually comes in at number 4. Some people have actually probably placed them down the list more, but if you think about how much these are used and how many argue and value for why they are so good, the free-to-play friendly Rohan. Like, this is a lot of Eomer's kit. He has his assist that he gains through his passive, that he can go with anyone who does an attack. It doesn't have to be a Rohan. But then the fact that he gains turn meter for himself, and when he does do these hits, then he actually heals Eowyn. It's not a lot of health, but it's still something, and she has a pretty good kit for the chapters as well. But through the synergy, this is actually really good for both of them, and it enables them to do that much more. So they come in at number 4. If you disagree with especially this one, then let me know in the comments down below. So now we're gonna break into the top 3, and on bronze medal we have Merry and Pippin. Some of you might have guessed that these would come in higher, so the reason why I'm gonna place them here is because they are really good synergy, and they work well with a lot of hybrid squads, especially the Dol Guldur in Chapter 3. They also work in a good hybrid in Chapter 4. But if you actually look at them, like, he can call, Merry can call Pippin to an assist and disable a boon. This is mostly used on the Cave Troll. And also they have a double tap in Chapter 1, that's really, really good. He can remove some Unbreakable in Chapter 3, so overall they're really good. And they have the immunity that they can grant, so yeah, maybe I should have placed them higher, but there are some other ones who also do some really, really important stuff in the raids, so yeah, I was really confused if I should put them at number 2 or number 3. Hadn't considered them for number 1. And the immunity is nice again, but they are a little bit squishy. And yeah, they grant regen when through Pippin when he uses his special too. So there's a lot of good stuff there, but I feel there are two duos that are actually better. So you might disagree. And yeah, I was really confused if I should put them at the penultimate spot. But let's see who takes the second spot. So this one is probably the biggest shock for everyone. Feely and Keely are not the number 1. And you're probably wondering, okay, well, if he doesn't put Merry and Pippin at number 1, and he doesn't put Feely and Keely, who the hell is at number 1? If you are impatient, you can jump over to that a little bit ahead in the video, and then you can see it, and then you can come back and listen to this. But I suggest you stick here, because then you get the argument for the number 1 after that. Feely and Keely are really, really good. Feely gains a bigger health boost when he has Keely in the team. Keely has his passive, his basic, which makes Feely come into an system, and that in turn grants a heal. So that is a really, really good synergy, and they are really, really good for the cave troll. They are good for the bulwark for healing. It's good for healing basically everywhere, and it's really good with the chapter 1. Like, it really helps you a lot, the fact that they can do this. So it is massive, and again, the fact that he boosts up a healing is really important, because Feely doesn't have that much health. I believe at gear 8, 7-star, he has 33k. Now that is without lives. But then 21% of that healing is pretty good. So these two really help each other a lot. And again, this is where I was a little bit considering, should they overtake Mary or not. You might disagree with the placement on them. Again, this is my own personal opinion. And yeah, it was really tough placing them. I went back and forth. I had initially put Mary and Pippin as the second one, and then Feely Keely as the third one, because of the especially the immunity. So that was the thing. But I decided to go with this one instead, because 2 attacks, and he calls on the basic, and he also calls in an assist, and that can generate quite a good healing. So yeah. Now, number 1, the best duo in the game. You might be scratching your head, who is it and why? Well, it is, shouldn't really come as any surprise, I mean, Father of the Year. How else can you then not be number 1? Yes, it is Denethor and Boromir. And before you all slaughter me in the comments, then at least listen to what I have to say. This kid actually has a lot more than meets the eye. So if we're gonna go through Denethor, and it is him that is enabling it actually. On his special 1, he calls Boromir and the ally with most Banes to an assist. This is a 2 attack, so this is really good and actually really vital for chapter 1, because due to the speed mechanics and everything, this is what helps you with the first bomber to get the 5 stacks. And also it generates regen on Boromir and the other member. And also on top of that, I believe Boromir is able to inflict weaken, because he assists, so that means his basic, and that weaken is really, really important, because that means you can get off of first turn weaken with him, and you can still get your taunt through his special 1. But this is not all it does. Special 2, where Denethor is really enabled. If Boromir is in the team, he grants Unbreakable. He can grant to a few members, 1, 2, and 3, depending on how it's leveled up, or all Gondor members. The fact that you can grant Unbreakable on an entire team, and you can grant it multiple times if you ever got to a point where you could actually do that, so that's a really good for a stall team, honestly. And I'll get more into that. That is really massive. So not only is the special 2 great because it stuns the target if it passes the focus check, it disables 2 boons, and on top of that, it grants immunity. So, and this is what Boromir enables through that. Then we're not even done. His passive Denethor generates another regen stack on Boromir and the most wounded squad member, or it's just the most wounded squad member, and then Boromir enables that. So there's actually a lot of regen in here, and everyone's favorite son, he helps Father of the Year enabling his kid, and also the way the passive from Boromir works so well with the leadership. Like they're not specifically mentioned, and that's something that I had focus on when I made this list. Someone has to be mentioned by name. It cannot just be calls the ally with the most damage to assist. No, no, no. Has to be with name, and this is why you don't see someone with Eowyn like her might. That's why I didn't mention her special one, because it's the one with the highest attack. So that's why. And this is also why there's a lot of duo that maybe you feel weren't placed the right way. But again, this is my own personal take. And also, the reason why this makes the number 1 spot is the Denethor kit from Boromir that gets the assist, the 2 taps on Bomber, the Unbreakable. Like, it's so core fundamental of the team. So if you don't have this duo, you cannot run the team. And that is why they take the number 1 spot, because they are so vital to make their team work. So you need it, and when you have it, it is great. And remember, the stun is actually really great, and then you get Unbreakable on top of that. He has his immunity with all the block chance and everything. Now, that's not mentioned by name, but that also is just cherry on top, and the sprinkles. So overall, this is why they get to be number 1. So, yeah, you are probably disagreeing with me, and it's okay if you don't agree. Let's have a very good discussion in the comments down below. What do you think is the best duo in the game, and why? I think many people had expected Merry and Pippin, and also Phil and Keely to make the number 1 and number 2. I hope this has not convinced you of Gondor, but it has given you some food for thought. And let's have a very good talk in the comments down below, and I'll see you all next video.